everyone please close their eyes for a moment and picture yourself getting a dog for the first time. Now open your eyes. What did you see? Did you see a dog like this one? Or expensive rare breed puppy in a pet store? What about where this dog came from and what it went through to get here? What if I told you that the pup you saw in the pet store most likely came from a puppy mill? Puppy mills are places where dogs are forcibly bred, kept in unhealthy environments, and sold for the best price. The goal I have today is to have you all leave here knowing that puppy mills should be banned and open your eyes to the horrors behind it. Through this speech, I will shine a light on many problems of puppy mills that concern animal abuse and neglect, explain solutions to these problems, and let y'all know the action steps needed to reach our goal. So, in order to find realistic solutions, we must always face the problems that we assess with animal cruelty. To begin, many problems we face today with animal cruelty and puppy mills include insufficient living environments, overpopulation of strays, and not enough laws focusing on this than other things. Firstly, many puppy mills keep their dogs in unhealthy, dirty, and abusive environments. Puppy mills can contain many dogs in a small amount of space and usually leave them in their own feces and urine because many people don't want to pay and keep up with all the things that come after that. To illustrate this, a Rolling Stone article posted in January 12, 2017 stated that there was a mill raid in North Carolina that had the parent dogs in desperate shape, blinded by cataracts, their jaws half gone or missing entirely, were so feeble that they couldn't stand erect, deformed from sitting on their wire their entire lives, and usually female mothers are kept breeding until they are disposed of and are not needed anymore. Unfortunately, almost all puppy mills have conditions like these that lead these animals to develop injuries, sickness, and sometimes death. Many of these sick animals are sent to pet stores and sold before they fully recover. In addition to these environments, the ones that become too sick to sell are put down in the most inhumane ways. For instance, in Pennsylvania, 2 breeders shot 80 Shih Tzus and Cocker Spaniels because they'd rather do that than provide veterinary care, as stated by the Rolling Stone article on January 12, 2017. Any animals that aren't put down or kept for breeding are most likely stuffed into the back of trucks to be sold online or at pet stores across the country. However, the next issue occurs when animals are disposed of on the streets rather than being cruelly put down. When breeders decide they don't want certain animals but don't want to put them down, they usually get abandoned on the street. Many dogs either die on the street or get euthanized when they reach shelters because they can't find a proper home. An article published by the Albany Law Review in 2011 states that it is estimated that half of the dogs and about 7 out of 10 cats that reach the shelter system are euthanized due to lack of homes. Puppy mills have been known to contribute to overpopulation of strays, and they can continue to breed more and more while rescue groups try their best to keep up. The last problem we face, however, with puppy mills today are insufficient laws regarding mills compared to other animal rights laws. For instance, dogfighting is a criminal act punishable by years in prison. Dogfighters will starve, lock up, and keep their pets in horrible conditions just the same as puppy mills do. However, according to the University of Maryland Law Journal of Race, Religion, and Gender and Class from the fall of 2015, puppy mill violations can sometimes require a formal administrative complaint, receive an official notice of warning, or face civil penalties. Even though the same kind of abuse and neglect could occur from dogfighting and puppy mills, there just aren't enough laws out there to punish them equally. At this point, we have some examples of how puppy mills are a huge problem in our society. So next, let's look at some solutions. Some ways to deal with all these issues include better legislation, a stronger support of rescue groups, and shelters. To start off, new laws and legislation can be passed to stop the trend of puppy mills. Puppy mills mainly sell to pet stores who charge an arm and a leg so that they'll gain a profit. If there are more laws banning animals being sold from pet stores, then it could cut off puppy mills at one of their biggest sources. A great example of one of these bans was explained from an article in the Palm Beach Post of October 8, 2014, saying that there are no pet shops in town that sell dogs, and animals that would be allowed to be adopted from these would have to come from rescue groups who require vaccinations and breeding. A ban like this not only cuts off puppy mills from selling and breeding more animals, yet it also helps rescue animals in shelters find homes. Furthermore, a strong support of rescue shelters would be a tremendous solution to the puppy mill problem. Donations, volunteering, and adopting pets go a long way to help keep the power away from mills and help keep animals off the street. Finally, for these solutions to work, there are certain action steps that we need to do to make a difference. Going from the easiest steps to getting more involved would be to start off with adopting, and then observance, and then eventually getting involved with your legislation. One simplest actions that you can take and make a huge difference is to living by the policy adopt, don't shop. Many dogs are in desperate needs of homes, and animal shelters have become overpopulated. Usually the ones who can't find a home are resorted to euthanasia. Adopting a shelter pet will most likely be vaccinated and healthy according to the breeds that puppy mills might carry with diseases. Just this small act can save many lives that will help with a protest to puppy mills. The next step you can take is being observant, reporting activity, and getting the word out. So if you see, hear, or smell anything suspicious, it is best to report it to authorities. Puppy mills will most likely be cautious about what they show you and where they bring you to sell dogs. However, rescue groups will be more open, so keep an eye out for suspicious people trying to sell you. Secondly, getting the word out about puppy mills and why they should be banned can have a huge impact. There are many ways to go about this, such as just talking to people around you about the issue or volunteering. For example, an article from the Janesville Gazette on July 6, 2009 stated how a man in town painted his pickup truck with anti-puppy mill slogans. The messages list the problems puppy mill dogs face, such as no exercise, no play, no vet care, dirty food, cage wire injuries, and just cruelty. But the most eye-catching part of Long's truck is the cages stacked in the back filled with fuzzy stuffed dogs. He wanted to show people how dogs within puppy mills are being raised. Lastly, if you want to help ban puppy mills, the best course of action is through legislation. Talking to legislators and voting for these laws is extremely important as we push for animal safety. Make sure to be involved will go a long way, and it will save our furry friends. Overall, I hope to have shined a light on many of the problems today that affect puppy mills and concern animal abuse and neglect, explain solutions to these problems, and shown you the right steps of action to take to fix this. There are many issues we face in puppy mills and animal cruelty, and it takes a little effort and observance. Volunteering at animal shelters, voting on legislation, and adoption can make a huge difference in animals' lives. So next time you're looking at to buy a new furry friend, think about those dogs who go through puppy mills and what they go through, and help us make a stand. Help to push for the ban of puppy mills, because there's no greater feeling than the feeling of safety.